Hello and welcome to the Maple from Canada's online food festival. My name is James Golding and today I'm going to be cooking a recipe from the Maple from Canada's brand new cookbook. I'm going to be making pan-fried maple salmon and serving it with some fresh vegetables from my garden. Let's get cooking. I've got some soy sauce, sesame oil, some incredible Canadian maple syrup. This is the amber maple syrup, and this is probably the best one to use because it gives it real great rich depth of flavour. We've got some black sesame seeds that I'm going to add in. We have some grated garlic, 2 cloves, 20 grams of chopped ginger, and we're going to slice up this chilli. So first of all I'm going to add in my 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. Now you could use any sort of soy sauce, you can use a light or a dark. I quite like the darker style soy sauce, I think it gives it a better flavour. Toasted sesame oil, this gives it a great flavour. There are a couple of different types of sesame oil, but don't get the wok one, get the pure variety, and just want 1 tablespoon of that for now. So I'm going to add in my 2 cloves of garlic. I've actually microplaned this. I find that it releases a lot more flavour, and then the ginger that's going in as well. So for the chilli, you don't need to chop this chilli, this can just be sliced, and this obviously when it's in the marinade you can see it, so anybody who's a little bit more sensitive to spice can take it off if they like. If it is chopped very fine then obviously you don't have much choice. So I'm going to leave the seeds in that and add in my chilli. Now for the good bit, this is a pure Canadian maple syrup and you want 5 tablespoons of this. I mean you can use the other types, it doesn't have to be amber, but I really think that the amber just really lends itself quite well. So we're going to give that a good old stir around. We're going to add in a pinch of salt and pepper. I'm using Cornish sea salt today, and some freshly grated pepper. Give that a little stir. Now you can use normal sesame seeds, you don't have to use the black ones. I quite like these though because I think they look really pretty when they're stuck to the fish. So you're going to add in about that sort of amount, should pretty much do it. I've bought 4 pieces of RSPCA assured Scottish salmon. This is beautiful this time of year. I mean the salmon at the moment looks absolutely stunning, and I think that, you know, when you couple that with the maple syrup and all these lovely ingredients, I mean it really gives you a real taste of Asia, I think. So we're going to just drizzle this over the top of the salmon. Now you could put this into a plastic bag or one of those sort of freezer safe bags, and that way if you haven't got the space in the fridge it gives you a bit more room. We're just going to pop this in the fridge now, and this is going to marinate for an hour to an hour and a half, and we'll move on to the vegetables. So I've got about 2.5 bunches of asparagus today. I'm also going to be serving broad beans that I've cooked and podded. We've got some beautiful flat leaf parsley. These are sugar snap peas. Now you can use normal peas, you can use the frozen kind, they're fine as long as they're nice, young and fresh and tender. I've got some purple radishes which are going to give the dish a fantastic colour, and then we're going to serve it with some lemon, and I'm going to dress these in some salted butter just to give them a lovely shine. Asparagus this time of year very rarely gets tough, but a little tip to think about when you are prepping asparagus. If you look towards the bottom you can see that there's a purple kind of tinge to the skin. What you want to do is just cut the asparagus just above that purple tinge. By doing that you make sure that every single part of the asparagus is tender. So it's quite important with the water that is boiling properly. We're going to season the water with some salt. It's quite important that you season your pan of water as it imparts flavour onto the asparagus when you're cooking it. And when you cook asparagus, you don't want to cook it for too long because it will lose that lovely green colour. So what we're going to do is we're going to blanch it and we're going to refresh it in some cold water. And by doing that, we're going to set that beautiful green tinge. It's boiling now. We'll get these guys straight in, and we're going to get some cold water ready on the side. So when you're cooking asparagus, good idea to keep it moving. You don't want the bobbing to the top and having the top part raw and the bottom part overcooked. So every now and again, just give them a good stir. And the idea with asparagus is that you basically want it to be cooked on the outside and a little bit al dente in the middle. It's fantastic when it just gets that little crunch after you bite it. Our asparagus is now cooked. You can tell it's cooked by, when I hold the spear, you can see it's got a lovely wobble on it. Make sure that it wobbles like that before you take it out. So this is going to basically go straight into our cold water. If you have ice, use ice. Straight into the water. Make sure that's cooling down, and we'll set that aside over here, and we'll move on to the salmon. So it's been about an hour now. Let's check the salmon and see if it's ready. Oh, that looks brilliant. So when it is marinated properly, you can see that the meat just sort of firms up slightly. The smell coming off of this, I wish you guys could smell it. Delicious. So we're going to cook this now, and you need a nice hot non-stick pan. So into the pan I'm going to put some veg oil. Now you can use olive oil as well, but make sure that it's not an extra virgin olive oil because they will burn when you cook it. I've actually taken the skin off of this salmon just because I think that I quite fancy getting a lovely char actually on the salmon itself. But you can leave the skin on, and it actually does go quite crispy, so it's a great way to cook your fish. You don't want to put this in when the oil is sizzling hot, because what will happen is it'll burn straight away. So I like to put it in when the oil is warm. And we're going to add in that glaze as well. We'll add in the rest when the fish is slightly more cooked. And we're going to cook this until we get a lovely colour, about 3 minutes or so. We're going to flip it over, add in the rest of the glaze, and then nappe, which is very chefy, you can understand, nappe our fish. Bit of colour coming up now on the fish, and that maple syrup is starting to caramelise incredibly well in the pan. So I'm going to add in now the rest of this glaze. There we go, that looks incredible. Look at all that maple syrup starting to boil and reduce. So in a separate pan, I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of butter to glaze the vegetables. I'm going to turn over the salmon to allow the other side to cook. And with a spoon, I'm just going to get that glaze all over the salmon. You can see how the glaze is reduced now, almost to a sticky syrup. So I'm going to leave that on the side of the stove just to carry on cooking, because it will continue to cook in the pan, and it will be a perfect pink by the time you're finished. So to the butter I'm going to add in sugar snap peas, my broad beans, a little bit of salt. Give that a good old stir, and that will gently come up to heat. Now I'm not cooking this, I'm literally just warming it through. So as you can see, the salmon's now cooked, and the glaze has just reduced perfectly for the salmon. You can see where I've napped it over the top, and it just sits on top of the salmon, and that's cooked absolutely perfectly. We have our peas and raw beans here in the pan. We've seasoned it, and into this we're going to add in our asparagus. Now I quite like to cut my asparagus down a little bit just so it's a bit more manageable, and by doing that you can add in these fantastic spears straight into the mixture there, and it just gives it a really great little texture. So into this I'm going to be adding some parsley. You could also add coriander if you liked, and I'm going to be garnishing it with these purple radishes. Now, purple radishes are amazing, and radishes at this time of year you can get all different varieties. There's white, there's yellow, there's purple. As you can see, this is our spring vegetables. It's a great taste of summer. We're going to add some of this parsley in now, but we're going to keep a bit of it for garnishing as well. Give it a good old mix. And I'm going to serve this in a bowl. As you can see, those spears of asparagus just sticking out. They're fantastic. You don't want to hide them, so when you're plating it, just make sure that you've got a few sticking out. Going to put our maple glazed salmon on top. Put a little bit of that fantastic maple glaze over the top. Looks amazing. And we're going to garnish with the sliced radishes, purple radish. So just simply over the top. You don't want to go too crazy. And then we're going to serve this with a lovely wedge of lemon. I hope you enjoyed cooking along with me today. Don't forget that this recipe and so many others are available from the Maple from Canada website. Just head over to maplefromcanada.co.uk to download the whole cookbook for free. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.